Good evening, councillors, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Corporate Governance Committee meeting tonight, Wednesday, 29th of November. Do we have any apologies for absence this evening?
Yeah, we've got apologies from Councillor Butler.
Thank you. Item 1, the minutes of the previous meeting. Are you in agreement that I sign the minutes of the previous meeting, which I believe is the 27th of September this year? All those in favour? Yeah. I'll take it as approved. Thank you very much. Item 2. Do members have any interest? Sorry, Councillor Bracknell.
Thank you, Chair. Within the minutes, it references two of my requests for information concerning the debtors action and the Huntingdon Town Council DPI, and I haven't had responses on either.
Okay, so that's not errors in the minutes. That's matters arising effectively, which we will put in the progress report tonight. Yeah, that's okay. Thank you.
Do it through the progress report.
Yeah, we'll do so. The progress report. Thank you. So coming back to members' interests, item 2. Do members have interest to declare this evening at all? No interests. Thank you. That takes us on to item 3, which is the Internal Audit Service Progress Report. I'd like to request Deborah Moss, Internal Audit Manager, to present the report. Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, I'll just introduce you first of all to Laura so you can put a face to the name. So this is our latest recruit, and she's come along this evening just to see the meeting in action as part of her training programme. So this report, I'll firstly mention actually that it says it's a quarterly update, and obviously the last one came to you in September, so it's not really quarterly. I don't know whether to drop that off there or whether you want to receive it perhaps less frequently even. My own view is that you probably need one of these each time. Oh, quite a lot of nodding. Okay, fine. We'll do that each time then. As I go through, probably some of it is perhaps more relevant than others, but I'll keep the same sections in there as long as they're useful. So the first section is on resourcing and the team update. So I've just mentioned in there again a bit about each person and the qualifications again. The fact that we've moved on the IT audit resources, that's a lot of work's been done by BDO, who's the audit provider, and HDC ICT service to decide what audit areas they're going to do. And then further down, you'll see that we've actually included those as proposed audits to add into the plan because we didn't have those last time. I can give you a quick update. I've spoken to Oliver, the director, who's responsible for ICT. He's happy for those 3 areas. He is taking it to the Shared Services Board for their approval because obviously ICT represents the other 2 partner councils as well. So we want to get their buy-in to it as well before we start. But the wheels are in motion really for BDO to start the audit fairly soon on that. So that's just to advise you again. So they're the ones that we've added on for this year. At the moment, there's none that have actually come off the audit plan, but I suspect come January when you see the report, I think there will be some that I'll be saying we'll need to remove off the plan. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, I think. So there's a list of audit reviews that are taking place at the moment. You'll see there's no summary of key findings on there or assurance opinion. The reason for that is not that we haven't progressed far enough through it, it's just that they haven't been closed off at the moment. So it'd be probably inappropriate for me to give you that information until the service has actually agreed and closed off those reports. So expect that the summary findings will be given to you in January, and I'll send the reports out to you as well. Significant issue. So this is just a quick update really on, so you know the risk management strategy was approved and a communication plan is being developed so that they can roll that out across the organisation and embed it a lot further. The business continuity plan has taken quite a lot of progress, actually, I'm pleased to report. Had a meeting yesterday with the two people who are closely involved in it and also the CSIRO and the SLT lead. The most of the services have now developed a basic BCP for their own service. At the moment, I think we're saying that yes, it is quite a basic template and it's going to evolve so that over time they develop it so it's a little bit better each time. And they've also almost completed the policy, the overview policy, and that will be ready to go to SLT, and everything should be in place by the beginning of the financial year. So that's quite pleasing to report that they've taken a lot of steps so far. Tracking of audit actions. So you have this each time again. 23 overdue actions to be reported this time. Oh, I have mentioned in there about the debtors one, Councillor Blackwell. So yes, you asked last time why that one was on hold. So we've confirmed now that the service is producing those age debt reports. So that one is now closed. And that will be checked by audit again at the end of the year. So if we look through the overdue actions, as I say, there's 23 that were overdue this time. Land charges is at the top of that, and as that was raised last time, I can report that I've spoken to the finance department. I think I said in the meeting last time that it wasn't really a land charges service issue, it was a finance one because they were drawing up the spreadsheet for it. I spoke to them last week. They have given you an update on there, and I spoke to them last week and they said it's practically done and dusted was their words. So expect that to be dropped off. So good work there. They've done that finally, and it's should be up and running and working for the beginning of the year. Next one down is the small works contract. That's probably the next concerning one to you because it's the next oldest. Again, I've spoken to the person leading the work on that, and whilst it hasn't gone out to tender yet, we are commissioning an external person to come in and do the tender specification because it's quite it's a lot more complex than they originally thought, but at least that's now moving in the right direction. So I will keep an eye on that as well so I can report to you each time. I think the further we go down, obviously they're the ones that are less months overdue, fewer months overdue. So I just sort of skip over those unless you've got any questions on those as we go through. There's some governance updates for you, just for you to read at your own leisure, and then the peer review, the actions table. So I think we promised to you that we would give you an update on each of the 17 agreed actions. So I've put in there what we've done so far. Quite a lot of them have been completed or they're in progress. I don't think any of them have not been started as yet. So some of them relate to me, some of them relate to governance, and some of them relate to the committee itself. And then section 7 is then, again, I've just provided this to you for information, really, just what I would consider to be useful developments and things that are happening in the governance world that you might want to read up on at all, just to, again, enhance committees' awareness and knowledge. So that's the end of the report. If anybody's got any questions to ask me.
Thank you, Deborah. Do councillors have questions to Deborah on this agenda item? Councillor Kadewere.
Thank you, Chair. Just to ask on this, is it because of shortage of staff, or why is it not being actioned earlier?
Are you referring to the peer review or to the audit actions, or? So the audit actions, I can't particularly comment. I mean, the services have provided you with an update as to the progress they're making on each point. Um, all I can say is if there's an issue with resourcing or anything, then it's up to them to state that in there. I'm not aware of anything. That's why it's relating to that. No.
Thank you, Councillor. Were you referring to resourcing within Deborah's team or resourcing in the delivery teams themselves, just to be clear?
Can you come again?
Sorry, were you talking about resourcing within the delivery teams that Deborah is auditing or resourcing within Deborah's team?
It's processing on Deborah's team.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So no, the audit action, the resourcing in the audit team has no impact at all on the audit actions themselves, because they're the actions that are going to be delivered by the services that have been audited. So it has no impact. The audit team has no impact on that.
Thank you. Councillor Jennings?
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick question on some of the responses from the service heads. They talk about documents that they've attached. I think there's one that talked about a PDF thing that had been attached. Another had they were giving an example which they'd attached. Those attachments, obviously, we don't see in this report. I'm assuming that you have. Is there any? Do you feel there's any merit that would come for us seeing those attachments to gain a better understanding of the service response?
To be honest, normally they put attachments on there to show evidence of something they've completed that we then use to verify that the action has been implemented. So without looking at any of these in particular, I can't say that I don't think it would be anything that would be useful to committee to see. It probably is just something they've done as they're working through something, and they've put it on there to aid audit, really.
Councillor Ray?
Thank you, Chair. One of the themes that seems to be sitting behind a couple of these is legal. So I don't envy anyone trying to come up with a framework agreement in a public procurement space. But clearly the small works contract has been sort of held up or not moving very fast because of that. Doesn't frankly wholly surprise me. And then further down, we move on to corporate enforcement policy, where we talk about changing legal support provided. Are we satisfied that we have got adequate legal resource coming into this organisation?
Karen, would you like to answer that?
So, not going to quite answer your question exactly. So, on the small works procurement piece, that's not a legal issue. That's an issue where initially we had one team progressing with it. They were struggling. We went in, we supported, we challenged. We realised that actually it wasn't that team who was the appropriate one to commission the work. And then when we looked into it further, actually going for a small works contract wasn't the right way moving forward. So that's what's driven the delay in that one. It's nothing to do with legal. And we're now tendering for the most appropriate contract to put into that. As far as the other elements on legal, if there is an issue with getting the resource we need, then we do have a route through to 3C Legal to progress that. It just needs to be escalated up to the right point. And where we've had those sticking points in the organisation and we've gone back to them, then they've gone outside to get the resource needed to move that forward. So that shouldn't be a sticking point for us.
Thank you, Karen. Any other questions about Councillor Blackwell?
Thank you, Chair. Just 2 points, please. First of all, I didn't really like all the abbreviations, and there was sort of no real consistency. You've got internal audit manager in some sections, then you've got IAM, and I really felt for any layman trying to read this. I think with with good order, we could put the full titles, please. And then secondly, item 17, it notes an update to be provided at the July meeting. That's the final box. Page 39.
So yeah, I mean, in terms of abbreviations, then agreed either perhaps have a. I guess that these are spun out of the audit management tool itself. So obviously, what was captured in the tool is being replayed out here. Maybe there's either, whether it's easier to sort things out within the report or whether it's easier to just provide a glossary, perhaps might be an alternative for that point.
With respect, I don't think it's difficult to do find and replace, and standardise across the board. I think if somebody's sort of picking this up fresh, it's a little bit difficult to get your head round, considering the volume of reports that we do read. So I think, for good order, we should have the full titles, please.
I appreciate what you're saying. I'm just saying it's the difference between pressing a button and producing a report on the one hand, and pressing a button on one hand, or pressing a button and then making corrections. And making corrections is a separate exercise. So I'm not saying it's difficult to do necessarily. It may well not be, but it's just the reality. Yeah. Thanks. So on your other point regarding risk management, Deborah, can you respond to that?
Are you referring to the information in the peer review table? Because I think where we've abbreviated, I think that's probably just to save space, to be honest, to put it in there. But if you want me to put full titles, we can. The point on 17 about the update to be provided at the July meeting, I that was obviously in there last time, but my column is the one on the end to just tell you that the action's now complete anyway. So it's really the update that this table is providing you with, the last column.
Okay with that response? Yeah. Okay, thanks. Okay, any further questions for Deborah on this agenda item, please? Nope. In which case, you're requested to note the report, and we will, with that, move on to the next agenda item, which is the Corporate Governance Committee Progress Report. And for this, I'll ask Lisa Jablonska, Democratic Services and Elections Manager, to present this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I take the report as read. I'm happy to pick up on Councillor Blackwell's comment earlier, if I can address that one, or again, happy to take any questions on any of the progress beforehand.
Okay. Thank you. My point was concerning the appointment of our independent member or members and how that is progressing, please.
So I think it's the same as last time. So the job descriptions have been sent out to committee. So we'll pick this up probably after the meeting, but I think I'm still waiting for people to comment on which one they're happy to go with, and then we'll design one from one that's been used previously. I know Jo has given me her feedback on one of them, so hopefully in the closed session we'll pick one of them up and go with a preferred one rather than reinvent the wheel.
So just to be clear, those are the two sample job descriptions from Kent and from Cornwall,
That's
yes,
right,
which
yes.
you will have had copies of from Deborah. And yeah, whether those fit the bill in terms of what we're looking for, which, as Deborah says, we can discuss at a later agenda item.
Chair, if I may just pick up on Councillor Blackwell's question earlier about Huntingdon Town Council. Apologies, and I did get an answer back on it. As of the CGC meeting, Corporate Governance Committee on the 12th of July, we weren't made aware of the 3 vacancies had been filled, but there was a subsequent email from the clerk sent on the 3rd of August that we were advised then that you had co-opted 3 new councillors. So the register of interest was updated, the register, and it's complete, and the register is updated now on the website. So I think it was more, without dropping the clerk in it, I think it was more the fact that we weren't notified of the co-opted members. So
Thank you, Lisa. Any further questions on this agenda item, councillors? Other aspects of it? No takers? Okay. In that case, again, we will. We have heard the report, we've reviewed it, and we note that for future reference. Thank you. And that moves us on to agenda item 5, which is the exclusion of the press and the public. The motion to resolve that the press and public be excluded from the meeting because the business to be transacted contains information relating to the financial or business affairs of any particular person, including the authority holding that information. Can I see all those in favour of that motion, please? Thank you. That is passed. So we will close the meeting to the public.